Hi and welcome to tonight's tutorial. Let me just check everything's working. Yeah, thank you for joining me. I am Pam Wrigley and I am a wedding hairstylist. I also do makeup as well, but I do lots of hair. And tonight, sorry I couldn't get my words out then, but tonight I am going to show you how to do a really beautiful kind of soft, relaxed, barely styled look, but it is styled. It does have curls and it's going to have a couple of braids and it's going to have some height here and a little bit of a kind of almost ponytail at the back. If you have any questions as we go through the tutorial, please don't hesitate, just pop your questions into the chat box and I will do my best to get back to you straight away. And also I do my regular weekly tutorials here on YouTube. But we do also have my main training platform is our online bridal hair course. And there we have a certified course where we teach people how to become wedding hairstylists. So if you find it difficult sometimes when we do the live tutorials, it's difficult for me to show you everything kind of close up and in detail. So if you're having any problems and you want to find out a little bit more about becoming a bridal hairstylist, then please just get in touch or check out our online bridal hair course at Create Beautiful Hair. But let's get on with our tutorial today. Now I'm working on this practice head that I have actually put curls in already. Now I use tongs to create this kind of natural curl effect, but on my client that I did this particular style for, I did straightener curls. So really, you can kind of choose whichever technique gives you the curl that your client wants. We do have lots of different tutorials showing you how to create different curls, whether it's a corkscrew curl or a very beachy wave, or maybe just a soft, relaxed, kind of big, chunky curl. Whichever kind of technique you want to, whichever curl, I should say, your client wants you to create, you can do that for your hair prep. Let's just check, that's it. And then you'll be ready to start. So once you've got all those lovely curls, what I've done here is create a little bit of height here on the crown. And if you joined me for last week's live tutorial, you'll be able to see how I created height here on the crown. You can always catch up with our latest live tutorials here on YouTube. So if you didn't catch last week, I showed you how to create this lovely, soft, textured height. But if you didn't quite manage to catch that, then please have a look at last week's tutorial. And so once you've created your height, you're then going to go on to create your braid at the side here. So I've done one very soft, relaxed braid here on one side, and I've loosened it out a lot. Now here, I've just done kind of a regular braid, and depending on your client's hair, now I'm actually just going to prop that up just with a hairpin. In fact, what I might do. Hi, Louisa. Good evening. Thank you for joining me. What I think I'll do whilst I'm on this side is actually just pop a grip at the back of this braid so it's invisible. We always aim to make sure all our bobby pins in every style are hidden. And we don't want this bit of hair here kind of sticking out. So I'm also working with a mirror here just off camera. So when you create your bridal hairstyles, I have a mirror that I carry around with me, and it's always worth kind of working with a mirror. I think you'll find it'll make a big difference because, let's hide that bobby pin, it's the wrong color, that's it. Because it allows you to kind of see the style from a different angle. So it's definitely worth it. So don't worry about all these little messy bits here. We'll come back to that later. But first, let's create our little braid here. Now, depending on how much hair your client has, how thick her hair is, you could maybe do a French or even a Dutch braid here. Sometimes I find when we do a French braid, it can be a little bit softer kind of at the front because the hair isn't kind of pulled into the braid. Instead, it's kind of pulled over and braided inwards, kind of from over the top. That does make sense if you know the difference between a French and a Dutch braid, but we also have tutorials on that. But if you're working with a client whose hair is maybe quite thin and she wants quite a lot of hair down here, you might be better to just kind of pick up a piece of hair and do a regular braid rather than trying to do the Dutch or the French braid. Especially, maybe she's not happy with her ears and maybe she wants lots of hair down here. And of course, with the French and the Dutch braids, as you're braiding the hair, you're adding more hair in to the braid, and more hair into the braid means less hair over the ears. So choose your braids carefully. If she wants lots of hair down, then you can always go for a lovely kind of, might bring that bit in. Let's have a little play. You can always go, yeah, that's it. You want enough hair in there, but you don't want too much. So make sure you've got enough hair down. And then you're going to create your braid. Separate it carefully, the hair. You know, another braid that might look nice here might even be a little kind of waterfall braid. So that's another thing you could do. If you're going to pick hair up and she's worried about the how much hair she has down, you could always pick a bit of hair up and drop a bit of hair down if you wanted to. Then that would be a kind of waterfall braid here. Let me do that again. I'm talking too much and I'm not thinking about what I'm doing, and I want this to be a nice, neat braid. Sometimes when you are braiding, I mean, I'm chatting away here on camera, but you might just be chatting to your bride. And sometimes I find that you kind of lose track of where you're up to. But don't worry, don't kind of struggle on. Just go back to the beginning and do it again. So I'm going to do a nice kind of neat braid. If the hair's a little flyaway, I mean, I'm not having any problems with this practice head today, but if it was, I could use a little bit of spray wax maybe. I could use a bit of smoothing cream. I could have a little bit on my hand and just smooth it onto the braid, onto the hair as I create the braid. Just check everything's all right. Make sure you can all hear me properly. Okay, now I don't need to do it too much because it's only going to come back to here. And then I'm going to kind of, I might do a little bit more. I'm going to loosen it out a little bit at a time, so we can create this gorgeous kind of textured, soft looking braid. So as I say, choose your type of braid carefully, loosen out carefully. There's no rush when it comes to, hopefully, there's no rush when it comes to softening these braids. That might be a bit too soft there, that's better. And you can always kind of pull it in both ways. So just have a little play, take your time, create a lovely, soft, loose looking braid to perfect the style. So it's kind of one of those styles that looks kind of effortless. The effort's gone into the careful curling of the hair, creating this soft, effortless looking height in the hair, which, as I say, if you want to check our tutorial I'm just going to pull that little bit there back in. That's it. If you want to check our tutorial from last week's live YouTube tutorial, I'll show you exactly how to create that height when you're working with lovely, soft, relaxed hairstyles. And we also did last week, if you remember, I also showed you how to secure a veil into one of these lovely soft styles. So, and she wanted the veil up at the front here. So, and at the moment, kind of long cathedral length veils are very popular. So we have to make sure that even in these lovely, soft, relaxed styles, not only is the hairstyle nice and secure, but all the hair accessories are nice and secure as well. Just going to pop a bobby pin in there, making sure that's hidden. I do think maybe I could have done with bringing a little bit of that back, maybe just a fraction. I think maybe just like that actually would be better. So what I might do is just kind of gently, maybe even twist it a little bit, so I can twist and loosen a bit. So it's all kind of effortlessly, gorgeously swept back and held in place. And then we can pop that. Let me turn her around so you can see what I'm doing. I'm still not worried about these bits sticking out. I'm going to pop a little bobby pin on that bit of hair there and push it in. You can twist around a little bit, find an anchor, push it in. So now that looks better at the front, I think. Okay, lovely. So now we've got our height, textured height. We've got our soft little braid on both sides here. She got a bit more hair down on this side, hasn't she? I like both. And I think I've mentioned this kind of before, that especially if you're doing a trial, if you're not sure, if you try one side with a little bit more hair down, the other side with a little bit less hair down. It's only a little bit less, but you can see which your client prefers. And again, that's where the working with the mirror comes in handy, because she can you can ask her, how much hair she wants to have down. Let's just check our questions. John can't. Hi, John. Sorry. Let's have a look. How would you secure the side back on one side and secure a flower? Let me see if I've got any flowers handy. And I'll see if I can. Maybe I need to do that. I can do that for you. I might be able to do that next week, actually, because that's a really good question. So John's just asked how, and I'm just going to twist this up. Let me just do this first. So you can just get a bit of hair. It's almost as if it's a bit of a ponytail, but it isn't. It's just a little twist in the hair. So I've got the hair. I'm going to do a little twist. So it's almost kind of like a French pleat, a tiny one. And in that little twist, I'm going to use a strong, straight hairpin. Let me just see if you can see that. Strong, straight hairpin. Let me bring her a bit closer so you can see here. That's it. So with the strong, straight hairpin, you're going to go into that twist, come out again. If the pin's quite open, just try squeezing it together a little bit. And you'll find it works a lot better. All these little tips all help. Then you're going to go into the hair, into that nice little twist you've got there, come out again, touch the scalp, go back in, push it in the other way, and then we get this lovely kind of messy, that's better, kind of knotted little updo. But then you can just use another bobby pin to just get it into a shape you want. Now, if the hair's a bit longer, it would be a nice kind of tumbling little curl here. You might find if you need to do another up and over, if it's not that secure, you might find you can always pop another pin just next to the one you've got in. And then we're just going to secure these bits in a little bit so they don't stick out. That's it. So securing a flower into the hair at the side. So that's really our gorgeous little updo done. Look at that, it looks lovely. Now, securing a flower, good question. So what you would do is, let me see, I don't think I've got any flowers handy, but I do have some little sparkly hairpins. But what you could do is, so say you're going to bring this hair up at the side here, and she just wants this hair back and everything else tumbling down with a flower in here. So we've got a couple of different options. We could do what we've almost just done at the back here with that little twist. So you can twist the hair. So with this one, with the curl at the back, with a twist at the back, we twisted it, remember, so that the hair came up and then tumbled over the top like that. So it's still a little twist. So here's the twist there. There's not much hair here because remember, it's gone, half the hair's gone into the braid. So we at the back, we've twisted the hair so the hair comes up. There's the twist that you do your little knot in, your little up and over into. But of course, here we're not going to want the hair to do that. Here we want to twist the hair in the same way, but so the curls tumble down like that. So what you would do, I haven't even got a comb here with me, but what you would do, Carter, is you would back comb the hair a little bit. So work out where the twist is going to go. So I know that she wants her hair pulled back here and it's going to sit there. So wherever that twist is going to be, I will come back and I'll put a little bit of back combing just here where the twist was. So you're twisting with the hair down. So you're going to put a little bit of back combing just where that twist is going to be, or you could use a little bit of texturizing powder, create the twist, get the angle, so whether she wants it up or back, you know, all these little things, you can always tell that just by looking in the mirror. And sometimes I find if somebody has a very kind of wide face, they might want you to lift this hair up and kind of pin it upwards because it kind of lengthens the face a little bit and makes it all look a bit longer. But she might want it to come back. So, you know, you've got to decide, again, you're going to use your mirror to get that right. So you're going to do your twist like this. Nice tight twist with a little bit of back combing just there. Or you could use a little bit of texturizing powder. Now, we've got a couple of things we can do. Behind this twist, you're going to put, you could just put a bobby pin. But to make it really secure, and that bobby pin has caught the hair, so I can't actually move my hand. But to make it really secure, you're going to go into that back-combed hair. Now, this hair isn't back-combed, so it's not going to work very well. And it's not a lot of back-combing. It's just a little kind of panel. You could either do back-combing or you could do, as I say, a little bit of texturizing dust just to kind of mat the hair together a little bit. You can go into that back combing, do your little up and over, and go behind that the bobby pin that you've got there, and that's already feeling really nice and secure. So quite often what happens when you have accessories to put in the hair, whether it's a flower or whether it's something sparkly or whether it's a little comb, you almost want it to look like the hair is being held back by that accessory. But really what we're doing is we're making sure that the hair is in the right position first of all, and that it's nice and secure, and that the bobby pins are hidden, or the hairpins, and then we're going to put the accessory in. So it's not the flower and it's not the comb that's bringing this hair back and holding it back. It looks like it is, but it isn't, and that's our little cheat. So what I would recommend is whatever accessory you're putting in the hair, get that sweep back, make sure it's secure, and then put your flower in. So say it's a flower that was kind of wired, you could just pop the flower in, and then you would do the up and over, go into the background hair, come out, do your up and over the edge of the flower, the little wire of the flower. Or if it's a little sparkly hairpin, you can just pop that in wherever you want it to be. I know this is a bit of a mishmash, this style now, because she's kind of got half foot. She's got a swept back, she's got a braid, she's got a little ponytail at the back. But did that help, Carter? I hope it did. I hope I know I don't have a flower, but hopefully that will show you, give you an idea of what to do. So you're going to get the hair back first, make sure it's secure, and then pop the flower in. One thing I would say, if your brides are going to have flowers in their hair, especially here, then usually what I recommend, and I did have a lady asking me about flowers the other week, and fresh flowers can be gorgeous in the hair, but if they're going to have it at the side or something like this here, unless they're very small flowers, they're actually better to have kind of silk or artificial flowers, because a real flower, if it's quite a big chunky rose, if you're going to put something like that here at the side, from the top of the rose where it's all kind of, the petals are all open, it looks lovely. But from the side of the flower can be really deep. So it can just kind of stick out at a funny angle from the head. So if the flowers are going to be quite big and chunky, something like a peony, or as I say, a big, soft, floppy rose, you're probably better to get silk flowers for the hair rather than fresh flowers if they're big. First of all, they're very heavy. They look odd from different angles because you can see the side of the flower and it kind of sticks out at odd angles. But also, because they're so big, if they're going to be in the hair all day, they can wilt quickly because they're not getting any water. So just something to bear in mind. The bigger the flower, the better. I would recommend that my client gets a silk flower rather than real flowers. Small little roses, little gypsophilia, beautiful, pretty little jasmine, things like that, gorgeous for the hair. But anything big, it might, especially if it's going to go up the side, it might be better to get a silk flower. I hope that helps. Let me just check. Good. I'm glad that was helpful. So, again, she's slightly lopsided. It always happens when I'm not teaching online, but she does look lovely. Let me lift her up a little bit so everybody can see. I can see that little blonde pin shining through there, so be careful you use the right colour pins in the hair. But thank you for joining me, and I hope you've enjoyed tonight's tutorial. Any questions, please just get in touch. You can drop me a line in our little kind of chat box, the comment box over the week. Please don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to learn more, lots more about bridal hairstyling, then you can join me for my online course. So I look forward to seeing you next week. Any ideas for hairstyles, anything you'd like to learn, just drop me a line. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Oops, another question. Oh, thank you, Louisa. Thank you, Carter. I'll see you next week. Find the off button. That's it. Take care. Bye.